Oh, honey, you look like shit.
Yeah, I haven't been getting very good sleep.
Oh, really? Have you been having nightmares or something?
Actually, yeah, I have. The same one every night, which is weird.
Oh, well, why don't you tell me about it?
Well, it starts with a truck just on this dirt road. Yeah.
Well, at least you have dreams. I don't dream at all.
Winslow, hold that thought. I wonder what people dream about. Real human beings and not gross computer people like yourself. I bet people post it online all the time. I have to go find out.
I hate you.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today we're talking about nightmares. More importantly, we're talking about people's nightmares online. It's pretty funny. People post their nightmares all the time. I love hearing about people's nightmares because mostly they're chaotic and stupid. What other crazy things can your mind do? It just simply tortures you. It's our fears manifesting themselves into our subconscious. It's crazy. It's metal. It's deranged. It's kind of crazy because they can be about all sorts of things. Maybe a home invader. You ever have someone break in your house? I have. It's terrible. It's very scary. Or someone hacking up your body, which is very gory. Oddly enough, not as scary as a home invader. You could combine the two and then it's a real nightmare. Other times it's just, you know, your teeth falling out, maybe a giant bug attacking you, or maybe you're naked at school, right? My worst nightmare would probably be if I was like in a pit of snakes, or if it was one giant snake. I don't like snakes. Anything involving snakes, I don't like.
Today's video is sponsored by our partners over at Factor. Are you looking to eat healthier but don't have the time? Well, Factor is here for you. Factor is a subscription service that brings nutritious meals to your door. All you need is 2 minutes to heat, eat, and enjoy! Factor has been my go-to dinner when I'm working at the studio. I like it because the food is restaurant quality, but it's quick and easy to clean up. Plus, Factor is flexible, so I can adjust my order sizes as I need to, without any hassle. And with over 35 meals to choose from each week, and specialty options like keto, calorie smart, and vegan, you're sure to find a dish that works for you. During the week, it's hard to keep up with everything, so skip the grocery store lines, the prep work, and cooking fatigue, and just get Factor! Head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code PAPAMEAT50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month's order. That's code PAPAMEAT50 at Factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video, and back to the video.
I think before we dive into it, we need to ask ourselves, why? Why do we even have dreams? Have you even thought about that? I haven't really thought about it, so I looked into it. and this is what I came up with. Everyone experiences nightmares periodically, but only 2 to 8% of the adult population is plagued with persistent nightmares, which is Nick behind the camera. I don't think there's been a single day he hasn't come in and he's like, I slept bad. I was having nightmares, my dog woke me up. And they are often brought up by stress and anxiety, but many factors can induce an episode, such as drugs and medications, eating habits, sleep deprivation, and mental health conditions. Nick, I need you to blatantly say that this is a fine work environment.
This is a lovely work environment. I had nightmares before I worked here, so.
You could have not have said that with more uncertainty and like it was more of a script. People are gonna think this is a nightmare scenario. In the past, nightmares were considered a source of bad energy, and people who had them were in desperate need of spiritual cleansing. Which I'm asking the viewers now. Is that you? Are you that person? Go with Christ. Light up some sage and put on a Shannon Blake song. Other people consider bad dreams a premonition for things to come. Which actually, coincidentally, the word mare in nightmare comes from an old Anglo-Saxon term for goblin, old hag, fiend, or demon that would sit on the person's chest, causing them to have bad dreams. And then also, Adam, you know Adam, the one from the f***ing Bible. Adam's first wife, Lilith, was the original nightmare. Lilith means night monster or night hag in Hebrew. I like that. I'm gonna start calling my wife Lilith. She's a raven-haired demon who preys on helpless newborn infants and seduces unsuspecting men using their wasted seed to spawn hordes of demon babies. This is also the origin of the succubus. Oh. A nice little succubus, why not? There's a similar story in the Epic of Gilgamesh where demons hunt pregnant women, kidnap newborn infants, and have wild sex with men after pinning them down. Dude, I need to read me some Epic of Gilgamesh, dude. The most common themes in dreams, it goes as followed. Showing up late, losing teeth, having insufficient clothing, you know, being naked in school. I never understood that. Why would I care? People see that I have a small cock. I didn't f***ing grow my dick, dude. It's not like I was like, oh, I thought I was supposed to buy a big one. Feeling trapped or unable to move or make noise. Realizing that you are about to crash a car. Falling down. Missing a flight. Forgetting one's luggage. Showing up unprepared for a presentation. Before we dive into all the internet's craziest nightmares here, I think it would be a good idea to have the man who runs the camera, the man behind the camera, he's laughs like an old woman. He's gonna come out and tell you some of his dreams because if I have to endure it every day, so do you. So Nick, come on down.
Hi, Hunter.
Hey, Nick.
Hi.
Okay, so you, we're doing a video about the nightmares, you know, so.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell people about just a couple of your nightmares that you've had recently?
So I keep a nightmare journal because they happen so often. I had a dream where I was walking with my brother, my parents, and my other brother were outside for some reason. Then like I clicked the mouse and then my 17-year-old dog fell from the roof and exploded on the pavement.
What do you mean you clicked a mouse?
I was probably at my desk and I was just like, probably like trying to do something.
Oh, so your dog exploded.
Yeah. And it was very sad. I cried in my dream and I woke up probably sad too because he's 17 years old. We'll show a picture of him. He's beautiful.
Let's say what we should do. This dog needs to be put down.
No.
Imagine being a dog who's, what's wrong with it? He's blind?
He's blind, he has no teeth, he can't hear.
So he's deaf, blind, and dumb. It's Helen Keller, the dog,
Okay.
who's lived way past what he should have lived.
Did we put down Helen Keller though?
She's a human being, Nick.
Okay, well. It says, I had a quick sleep paralysis dream. I don't remember much. I was chewing gum and it was sticking to my teeth. It was so sticky that I couldn't get off my teeth, and when I tried lifting open my mouth, I could feel my teeth being pulled out from my gums. I stuck my finger in my mouth and tried scraping it off, but to no avail. I only remember the tail end where I couldn't move and everything was pitch black. For whatever reason, I decided I wanted to kill myself so bad I held my breath. This woke me up. Now I know a trick to end my sleep paralysis dreams.
I always forget that you have sleep paralysis.
Also, I believe the reason I had the gum bit was because of my clear braces in my mouth, so I like clear cracks.
Oh, I see.
I think in the dream I was so depressed because I was like, oh, I'm ruined, my teeth. I might have sleep apnea because
you definitely have sleep apnea. You 100% have sleep apnea.
All right, so this one's from 2017, December again.
2 days after
2
Christmas.
days after Christmas. What is up with Christmas?
I don't, you tell me.
This was a really long dream. I was at a school with a giant pyramid, and I used to be a custodian before I was working with Hunter. Like,
I hired a janitor.
all of a sudden, panic struck everybody around us. People were running and hiding around the pyramid building. I could hear people saying, "He's coming this way, hurry, run." I didn't know what was going on, so I ran faster.
This is a school shooting nightmare.
Yeah. As I'm about to turn the corner, the people running to my side duck in some bushes. Out of fear, I began to follow, but it's too late. A guy with a gun is right at the corner. My heart stops as I slip and roll into a bush. My whole body freezes as I lay face up on the bush, hoping this guy doesn't shoot me. He's staring right at me. He's got a snapback hat turned to the side with sandy blonde beard and saggy pants. He then points his gun at me and shoots me 3 times in the chest.
I hope he doesn't shoot me. I'll immediately shoot you in the chest 3 times.
At first, I don't feel anything, then a warm sensation slowly washes over me as the blood begins seeping out of my wounds. I clutch my wounds thinking I can hold in my blood and stop myself from bleeding out. My vision becomes to blur as I lay there telling myself I'll be fine.
I love the idea of a guy getting shot and he's like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. Holding his chest.
Finally, he looks at me. He sees I'm still alive. He begins to circle around the bush. For a second, I believe he's about to walk away. Suddenly, he points his gun at me. In this moment, I lose all hope of surviving. He aims his gun at my knee and pulls the trigger. Sharp pains surge through my body. He points a piece at my crotch.
What are you processing in your head, dude?
Still thinking I'll make it out alive, I foolishly guard my believing that'll stop the bullet, or at least stop him from shooting. This does nothing. He shoots my off. That's my dreams.
Harry, you want to come down and say one of your dreams?
What are you guys doing now? Just talking about our nightmares.
Talking about our nightmares. Do you have any nightmares that you want to talk about?
I usually don't have nightmares, but I have had sleep paralysis a few times. It usually actually happens during naps. A couple times I thought I died because I felt my whole body like shuddering, like a takeoff of a rocket, and I just shot up straight into the air, and then everything went white, and then I kind of woke up like gasping, and I thought I died. It was very scary. No, I'm in sleep paralysis, and you just sit there and you kind of just wait until it releases you. It's honestly terrible.
That's horrible. I don't know why my crew is so plagued with night terrors, dude. Well, okay. Well, thanks guys for stopping by. I guess you can go back to whatever room you're sleeping in. I think it's really cute that we all have the same outfit, though.
This is a coincidence.
Yeah, this actually, we didn't plan this at all.
All right. Good night.
Yeah, it's morning, but that's all right.
Good morning. Oh, I'm going back to bed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, well then, let's get into some random people. I asked people on my Instagram, my Twitter, my Twitty, and also Patreon members, all random people online who follow me, what some of their nightmares were, and these were some of the nightmares that we got in. Man, okay. When I was like 7, I had a dream. I was in a gymnasium and there was a science fair happening. My mom and dad took me to evil science projects, like ants getting force-fed to spiders or lightning being made into skinny monsters. One thing really freaked me out. There was this old leathery man, skin and bone, moles from hell and back, and the white stringy long hair dangled down and he wore a blue suit. He sat in this giant chair wrapped with this generator thing, and it was electrifying him, like frying him. His mouth was chattering, opening and closing really fast. His teeth making this clacking noise, and you could see every tooth. Scared the dick out of me, so I immediately ran. The old man lunged out of his chair and said, "Hey, buddy!" I woke up in a fully pissed bed. I don't think you had to include the fully pissed bed part, but I appreciate it. Also, this sounds like the ramblings of a child who went to a Spirit Halloween store and saw one of those animatronics. Whenever I'd get stressed out, I'd have a reoccurring nightmare that I was trapped in a room with nothing in it. I was usually naked. And as I tried to find a way out, I'd begin to notice bugs creeping in from the cracks in the walls. I was terrified of bugs back then. They filled the room rapidly and soon began crawling on my skin. I would brush them off in a frenzy and keep trying to unveil my escape route. Eventually, I couldn't keep them at bay. They would bite my skin and I would cry. Except whenever I opened my mouth to scream, the bugs would rush in and I would choke until I woke up. The sound of their carapaces scraping together, the skittering noises of their legs, the feel of them on my skin. I still feel the fear thinking about it. That's pretty messed up. The idea that whenever you scream, the bugs crawl in. I've never really gave a about the bugs. You know what I'd do? I'd eat those motherfuckers. They crawl in my mouth, I'd chomp them down. When I was like 7, I had a nightmare about my family beating me with sticks. And just that, your nightmare was just your family beating the hell out of you with sticks. Was pretty funny. My 7-year-old morbidly obese self laying in front of our garage, being beaten with random thick sticks by my mom, dad, and sister. I still don't know why I had that nightmare. My family IRL are really nice people. I doubt it, dude. If your family's nice, you don't have dreams about them beating the shit out of you, dude. When I was younger, a kid drowned at the pool across from my house. Me and my mom saw the dead kid from the porch. What? And every night I had a nightmare about the kid getting stuck under the ladder he died on and screaming my name from under the water, gripping his chest like he couldn't breathe. Then I tried to help him and he would always end up dying anyway. Every once in a while, I have the dream and it still creeps me out. This is the confession of a man who, as a child, watched a kid drown and did absolutely nothing to help him. When I was pregnant, I had a dream where I gave birth to a litter of puppies in secret. Or is this a dog? A litter of puppies? I tried to hide them away and a raccoon ate them. I cried so hard I ended up giving birth to another litter before I woke up. The crazy thing is that I hate dogs in real life. She shit a litter of puppies from her I think she just wants to be a dog. Bitch saw Airbud and was just like, yo, sign me up. When I was around 5 years old, I had a vivid nightmare where I was stuck inside of a Blockbuster. That sounds like heaven. It sounds like a fantasy. Got all the cookie dough bites you can have and all the movies you could watch. There was a man near me that would rip off the skin of his face, and whenever he ripped off the skin, he would proceed to eat a person near him in a single bite. He did this about 5 times before it was just me and him. Once I noticed it was just us, I was finally let out of the store, but he started to chase me down running on all fours. The dream ended with him about to catch me. One bite.
That's vor shit, dude.
That is vor. This is a 5-year-old child fantasizing about vor. This is why the internet's a bad thing. Once I had a dream where I was sitting cross-legged alone in a dark room. There was enough light to see around me, but anything beyond my immediate vicinity was just darkness. And in my laps was a rusty metal bucket that I was hunched over. I was sobbing uncontrollably while I dug my fingers into my mouth. The gums had the consistency of warm butter, and I scraped globs of blood, flesh, and teeth out of my mouth and shook them off my fingers in the bucket. Then I woke up. That is vile. I love that. First off, that description is sick. I mean, if it has a nightmare, it's horrible, but you know, that's a cool writing. Next, let's go to the public. This is where we started researching shit outside of people sending me stuff, and we dug deep. And first off, I checked my own Reddit, and on my own Reddit, I did find this post, and I thought it was pretty funny. Dream I had. I dreamt that Papa Meat came to my room and stood over me like pretended to cut my eyes out, all while whispering in this creepy voice. Then he takes out his phone and shows me footage of him running around my front lawn in a bathrobe. While he's doing this, another guy walks in, sees him hunched over me with the phone and goes, "Is he your monitor?" What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Hey, psycho. Don't post that shit on my subreddit anymore, you psychopath. I don't like the idea of other people dreaming about me. I'll tell you one time, it was actually kind of weird. One of my teachers in high school said he had a dream about me. That felt inappropriate, right?
That feels weird.
At the time, I was like, no way, that's cool. So when I was 10 years old, I had a nightmare that involved Barney the dinosaur crying, holding a butcher knife, and chasing after me while shouting, "You don't love me anymore" in his voice. Write that down for a Me Candy video. On a somewhat similar note, I distinctly remember a nightmare from when I was a kid, all in black and white, where Goofy's glove floated around my dad's workshop trying to strangle me, just the gloves. Write that down again for the Me Candy video. When I was younger, I watched the movie It on public television, and it scared the shit out of me. And I remember when I used to get scared when I was younger, I would go into my mom's room and I'd lay on the floor next to her bed. And I remember so vividly, I can still remember it now. I woke up and it was like as if it wasn't like a dream where I legitimately thought I was awake, and I was like looking around and I saw like in the foreground, and it was like I couldn't see his eyes or face, but I saw the rim light of the moon on his back of his head, whatever. And I just reached my hand out forward, and then I just heard this like crunching, gnarling sound, like that. And I remember I brought my hand back, and my hand was totally gone, and it was just like tendons coming out of my wrist, whatever. And I was like, ah! And I woke up. You want to say another dream, Nick? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I was 8 years old, and Martin Luther King Jr. got assassinated again. And then in that same dream, there was a kid who he got sucked through the toilet and the pipes.
I'm sorry, the MLK thing really fucked me up. What a weird dream for a child to have, that Martin Luther King Jr. gets assassinated again. I have a lot of nightmares growing up. Being 27, have left most behind me. One that was constant for a few years was Humpty Dumpty. Yes, the weird Eggman version of the old poem. He was about 7 feet tall and was trying to torture and kill me. The 7-foot-tall Eggman. I was hiding in a room in my house, and my parents sat blankly, staring at nothing, not caring on my impending doom. He would run up, and I could see his creepy, demented face through the window. He would run in and be very quiet, just searching. On occasion, he would find me, and I'd wake up, sometimes screaming. I was horrified as a kid. When I think of it now, it was definitely one of the weird nightmares I've had. Every story I've heard of this bitch, he like falls and cracks. I feel like I just push him over. Put up a picture of what the demented face would be. And then put like a little window and have him like look over real quick. Whoever's editing this, I want you to use your own voice to say, I'm gonna fucking kill ya. I'm an egg. Here's a little backstory. When I was little, I loved Bagel Bites. Dude, who doesn't like Bagel Bites still? We gotta get some Bagel Bites for the fucking studio. Are you kidding me? This is the only way to eat a Bagel Bite. You cook it. It's gonna be molten lava hot, right? You wait about 15 seconds. You don't bite into the bagel, you scrape off the topping with your teeth, all of it, and then you bite the bagel. I ate Bagel Bites for lunch and dinner all the time. I remember being in my house being hungry. I went to my freezer and found it stockpiled with Bagel Bites, which was normal. Trust me, we were a Bagel Bites family. I take several boxes out and put 120 Bagel Bites on 4 trays and put them in the oven at 500 degrees. I closed the door and left. And then I remember thinking,
Oh, crud. I left the Bagel Bites in the oven.
I scurry to the oven and open up the door, and I just see the Bagel Bites that are burnt to a crisp with cheese melting off and falling off the bagels. If this is where the dream ends, I would actually say it's a nightmare. Wasting that many precious golden Bagel Bites. I begin to panic, thinking of consequences of the mess I've made. I close the oven and go for a towel. I hear loud breaking noise. I realize that it's so hot in the oven that the light bulb inside burst. I rush back to the oven and open it up, and the most terrifying thing I've encountered in a dream. When I open it up, there's a block of cheese the size of an entire oven melting all over the place. That's when I woke up. It seems like the most irrational fear, but now I can't eat Bagel Bites. It has scarred me for life. More for us. You know, one time my sister, we were making caramel corn, and she put 2 of the caramel corn things in the microwave to heat up, but they were still in the metal packaging, and it fucking like blew up the microwave. So funny.
Oh, God!
And my dad was like, son of a bitch! God damn it, Haley!
And he's like, I'm sorry.
And I said, so Bagel Bites, anyone? Did that come for full circle okay? Yeah. I spent 35 years in my dream. I'm going insane. Hi, I'm 20 years old right now, and I spent 35 years in my dream. At first, I woke up in my dream, and I realized it was a dream since I can't remember where I was before. Is that just a way to know that it was a dream? Okay. Then I woke up again in real life, and I proceeded my normal daily life as the same. I married my current girlfriend, I got promoted, traveled throughout the world, and even had a daughter in my dream. I even remember my wife's pregnancy, how she acted and the daughter's personality was. She tried to convince me I'm not dreaming using exact quotes she's using right now. Then I died in this dream from a heart attack at 55. God, dude, you f***ing chain smoking cigarettes and eating donuts, you fat f***. And I woke up in real life. My sense of reality is basically shattered. I keep having derealizations and feel like I was given a second chance in life. I don't know if everything around me is real or not. I'm about to lose my mind. Any advice? Imagine living a full life in your dream and you wake up. Would you not just be completely scarred, actually?
I had something similar.
I'm just gonna start calling you dream catcher. Is what I'm going. After all these, you're just like, yeah, that's also happened to me. How did that happen to you, Nick?
This one, when I was dreaming, it felt like an eternity, but it was the same beats. Like, I finished school, met a girl, fell in love. We had 3 kids. One of the kids died. And then we were old and dying. And I woke up and then I was super depressed because I was like, oh my God.
After hearing all of these things, and especially hearing my cameraman have a mental breakdown on camera as well, maybe you're not having nightmares and you want one. Well, here's some techniques to induce some nightmares, okay? Some people try and induce nightmares the same way some people try to induce lucid dreaming, which we'll get into lucid dreaming here in a second. So why would you want this? Well, some people maybe just want to have a weird experience, all right? Why do people do meth, right? To escape reality. Probably not a good comparison. So anyways, here's some ways to induce some nightmares, you know what I mean? So immersing yourself in scary/horror media repeatedly. So watch a bunch of scary movies, interact with Nick. Waking yourself up. Use of alarms, as having interrupted sleep tends to cause bad dreams. So basically use alarms when you try to wake yourself up, because whenever you wake yourself up abruptly like that, you usually tend to have a nightmare. I didn't say this, just Neil deGrasse Tyson did. Eating spicy food before bed. No wonder, Nick. No f***ing wonder you have so much nightmares, dude. That's all you eat. All he eats is spicy food. I'm not even joking. I actually wonder if you didn't eat something spicy in a day, if you wouldn't have a nightmare. You think that's true?
I'm not gonna try it.
I'm not gonna try it. I refuse. And even apparently just sleeping on your left side, which supposedly increases your chance of having a nightmare by 50%, according to some tests, those tests done by Neil deGrasse Tyson himself.
I call bullshit on that, dude. I only have nightmares on my back.
Well, Nick, you do all these things and you have nightmares, so I don't know, maybe f***ing sleep on your right side and just eat a kebab without a bunch of spices. So here's a post from a guy who is a lucid dreamer. First, some background info. I am a lucid dreamer. I've had lucid dreams on a regular basis. I have heard of some people who can continue where they left off and stuff, but I wasn't as extreme. So as some of you may know, with great power comes great responsibility. Ooh, bro's literally quoting Spider-Man. That responsibility, unfortunately, was sleep paralysis. You know where this is headed. No, I don't. So I tend to get sleep paralysis once a month or so, and it is creepy. One of those horrible moments where I'll never forget. I was in bed. I had woken up from a lucid dream. I couldn't move. Oh, Lord. I forced myself to stare at the ceiling, and as I knew what would happen if I dared look anywhere else, during the moment, I heard the door slam shut, and somebody was sprinting. I looked. I had to look. I saw a child with a machete. He had torn clothes, not to mention covered in a certain red substance. Shivers. He was sprinting towards me with that unforgettable smile on his face. I screamed. Thankfully, I hear sound. I was lucky it wasn't real, and I got up. In the end, I think lucid dreaming is worth it, sleep paralysis or not. I am a man. On r/lucid dreaming, this is their best suggestions for inducing nightmares. So here's some more. I don't get scared by anything besides having nightmares, and it tends to be a bit of an adrenaline rush when I wake up. Sorry, I know it sounds like a weird thing, but I'm not sure how else to put it. And these were some of the responses, I'm guessing. Try wearing socks to bed. I know it sounds weird, but I know a lot of people who avoid wearing socks to bed specifically to avoid having a nightmare. Imagine some guy who's just like, yeah, I wore my Hanes socks and I had a crazy nightmare last night. I used to do this on purpose by eating lots of cheese before bedtime. Watch an extra disgusting horror film as well for best results. So cheese and horror films. I actually, for some reason, I believe that. Probably just because you're having a heart attack and that's your body's going into some kind of panic. I hear Datura is living a nightmare for myself, but don't do it. So you can smoke Datura. What is Datura exactly?
It's like a weed.
It's like a weed. It's like a kind of drug. Every tip report I've heard, read that came from consuming Datura has been an absolute nightmare. I listen to trip reports to fall asleep at night and have had some crazy nightmares from that alone. I guess that'd be a good way to have a nightmare before you go to bed. Some guy just talking about how like life has no meaning and he saw the face of God or whatever. And they say that if you want to have walking nightmares for days, you need to smoke Datura. And some of the common things that people experience on Datura go as following. Common hallucinations are blood dripping from the walls and other objects, seeing deceased family members as they were alive again, smoking a non-existent cigarette, insects crawling on your body, the phenomenon called room jumping, where the user blinks and is suddenly in a different room with different people, and doppelgangers that can be helpful or hostile. Physiological symptoms have been described as red as a beet, dry as a bone, blind as a bat, and as mad as a hatter. Flushed skin, extreme incessant thirst, blurred vision, and psychosis are common when smoking Datura. Good name though, huh? Kind of makes me think of that movie Zathura, which is just space Jumanji. Not very good. It is determined a deliriant, not a psychedelic, because people who are unable to determine reality or have a recollection of taking something to feel this way. It commonly results in people stripped naked, leaving their house, and causing unwanted negative behavior such as violence, harassment, and destruction, and ends with them waking up in a hospital room or jail cell, unsure how or why they got there. Just like the guy who started Kony 2012, and he was naked, and I think he had a nervous breakdown, and he was jacking off in the streets of San Francisco. That's real. Remember Kony 2012, guys? I will say, for me going to you, do not take Datura, as there's no recommended dose, and people die on it all the time, so please don't take Datura, and if you do, please don't say that you took it because of me. That'll make me look bad. So, people have nightmares all the time. Usually they're very funny. They're very, very odd. To me, it feels like impulses. It feels like tricklings of your own doubts and insecurities. It also feels like maybe it's just completely random. Nightmares are not fun. I don't like, if I have a nightmare, why would anyone like nightmares? If someone's like, I love nightmares, they're a liar, because nightmares are very, very scary. I've never pissed myself from a nightmare. You did, Nick?
Oh, not a nightmare, just a dream.
So you're just raising your hand to raise your hand. You know what, you're like the kid in like a 6th grade class who's like, make fun of me. All I know is tonight if you have nightmares, it's not my fault. Eat some fucking bagel bites and go f yourself. Have a good rest of your day.
Bon appetit, bitch. Ooh, this, bitch. Let me handle this, bitch. It's not my fault this bitch is dead on her feet. Welcome to my world, bitch. Die, little bitch. Think you're so smart, huh, bitch?